What up, TikTok? Hey, hope everybody's having a great Friday. Hey, don't let anything that's negative in your life dictate the rest of your life. Does that make sense? Hey, we all go through some hard times. We all go through some emotional stressors, maybe at work, maybe at home, whatever it may be. Don't let that dictate who you are and how you react to the rest of the things that life throws at you. Does that make sense? Like if you're feeling pissed off and angry all morning or all day, you're going to take that energy and you're going to present it to everybody else that surrounds you, your loved ones, your soldiers, whoever it may be. You're going to use that negative energy and it's just going to make everything worse. Try to be positive. Pick something positive in life that's going really well. Use that positive energy and let that dictate the rest of your day. We can harp on the negatives. We can harp on the bad things that are going on in life. It's not going to help us. It's not going to help us move forward. Stay strong, keep pushing, drive on. Happy Friday.
What's up, Trash Talkers? Hitting you up this morning with a special promo on how to dress when you are doing PT in civilians, but you want everybody to know you're an Army. This comes from the Buddy Beckwith fashion design of how to work out. So first, you can notice the RI panties. Not Ranger panties, but Ranger instructor panties. The green socks, the knee brace for the old guys. Don't forget the M frames. Now the shirt, don't wear the Trash Talk shirt while you're running. This is just for the promo. You want to put on like an 80-second shirt or like your favorite airborne shirt so everybody knows that you're a veteran. That's the most important thing. And you start with this stretch. Buddy Beckwith taught me this one. Ready to go.
So, I'm walking out of the gas station and my co-worker, who's an old MP, but we still claim him, and has engaged the man in conversation. Not much for conversation with strangers, but he's got the tab. So as I walk by, I say airborne, and the man responds with, and I quote, "Hoorah." So after I instructed my coworker to slash every single tire before he put the car in gear, I look for the biggest rock. As I crow hop to throw it through his back window so he can stop posing as one of us, I actually wake up and realize that the man's ignorance had incapacitated me for a moment, and I was daydreaming. I mean, because in that moment you got two options. I chose the third option and said, "Incorrect. That's an incorrect response." And I kept walking. The man said nothing and he pulled away. So you tell me, what is it, a stolen valor thing? No Marine's gonna have an airborne tab, and no paratrooper's gonna say hidden hoorah. So you tell me, stolen valor?
Hey, y'all, I'm going to work. I left you a note on the refrigerator. I love y'all. I'm gonna go.
Hey, go get dressed. Get ready for school.
You're doing great. I was just tooling around, tooling along.
Shit! Bad guys! Stop!
Let me break it down Barney style.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, Joe, and Buddy. Real warriors making fun of other real warriors. Try to not get triggered.
What's going on, VTT? What up, Gruntworks Nation? Welcome to episode 91 of the Trash Talk Hour. Shout out to our sponsor, 10th Mountain Whiskey. Check them out at 10thwhiskey.com.
Yeah,
Type
fuck
in
you, Zach
VTT.
Marcus.
Get a discount.
No.
Special guests today are Sarah and Nicole from the Ohana Homefront Foundation and our newest VTT host, Brandy. And as always, I'm joined by Nick, Buddy, and Joe. So today we're going to kick off the conspiracy with one of my favorite ones. Aliens, of course. Roswell, Area 51. Okay, for those of you that haven't heard about it, supposedly in 1947, it was like July 4th or 5th, a spacecraft crashed in New Mexico. Okay, A rancher found the debris. Okay, it was just like metal debris all across his ranch and everything. You could like bend it and it would just like come together again flat, and there were like hieroglyphs on it and everything. So he turned it into the local sheriff, and then the local sheriff went to the military, who then came in to get all the debris. Immediately following the next day, in the newspaper, military, got a flying saucer. We captured a flying saucer. It was in the newspaper. And then the following
that
day,
makes it real.
Yeah, you never know. But then the following day, it immediately turned into a hot weather balloon. Okay. And some military testing site or some weather balloon that they were testing. Long story short, there were supposedly bodies as well. Okay. There were 3 alien bodies. One apparently was still alive and ended up living on an unknown military installation for at least 4 more years until he died. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at. A lot of people say the crash happened. I truly believe that something did happen there. I don't know if it was a UFO, but something definitely crashed, and it wasn't a hot weather balloon.
Wait, you don't know if it was an alien?
Yeah, I don't know if it was aliens.
Because,
it could have been, technology.
Because America has UFOs because
we do.
It's an
Everything that
flying
correct,
object.
Correct, and they're actually called UAPs now.
You're a UAP.
Yeah, unidentified aerial phenomena or whatever it's called. But I truly believe that something happened.
Spell phenomenon with an F.
Yeah, with an F.
Because America.
So I don't know. And Joe wanted to go first today and wanted to, there's no shrooms involved, Joe. There's no drugs this time. So
are you serious? Is there shrooms in New Mexico?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Joe always blames everything on drugs, but go ahead, Joe.
Hey, no, listen.
Good and bad.
Pass it over to somebody else because you were frozen through half of that. And my screen is like complete. So pass it over to Buddy real quick.
I got it.
I missed.
I got you.
Joe's been eating shrooms this entire
All
time.
right, Brandy.
Issues.
Area 51, 1947. Did it happen? Did it not? Or what are your thoughts?
I mean, I was stationed out in Cannon, so there's definitely shit out there. Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna say, yeah, definitely something happened. My parents actually had a story of their own where they actually had like something hover above them when they were at a campground in northern Wisconsin. It was like a triangle. It was like the color of the sky, but like you could see like the flicker, like it was reflecting off the fire a little bit. But like it just like hovered there for like a minute and then it was gone.
So do you think something crashed there?
No, I think they were just like the scouting mission, sort of like they just stopped, like, oh, like look, there's humans, and kept going. But no, I think there's lots of stuff out there. Just we don't know.
And then they impregnated all the women in northern Wisconsin. We talked about this a couple
I think that's the cows, not or I mean, like
the cows.
So okay, so before we pass it on, hot weather balloon or alien spacecraft?
I mean, I would definitely say alien, or it could be U.S. government craft. I mean, we used to have like when we were out there, if you crashed an aircraft, it was $1 million the ranch was given. There was a guy that had 2 crashes in the same 10 years.
Yes.
Damn.
That's
Okay.
$2 million he was handed by the U.S. government.
So wait, the wife of the pilot, I'm assuming the pilot was a man back in that day, right? So
and it was like in the 2000s, but yes.
2000, so it could be a girl. So the spouse got $450,000 and the rancher got $1 million.
Yeah, because it crashed on his property and they have to report it.
Yes.
And it didn't crash. The spouse didn't have to clean up the
All right,
crash.
so possible alien spacecraft. Granny Lisa Kraft says, I saw an alien spacecraft as a child. I believe it's true. Thank you, Granny, in the chat. Okay. All right. Nicole, what are your thoughts?
Was that Brandy from Season Crazy on the chat?
No, Granny.
Granny. Oh,
yeah.
no.
Nicole, what are your thoughts? Alien spacecraft or military technology, or what happened in Roswell Area 51 or Roswell, New Mexico? Sorry, 1947.
With Brandy that I would say like military technology or any sort of alien spacecraft, because there's so much out there that we don't know about.
100%.
So I totally believe it.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Sarah, what are your thoughts?
I agree with Brandy and Nicole. There is so much out there that we don't know about. So I believe yes. That's what it was. Well, apparently right now it is, yes.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
Right.
Yes, Mr. President. Great idea, Mr. President. What the shit? Like, come on.
Joe, you ready yet?
No, dude, I'm gonna have to restart this.
All right, buddy, let me get your take on all of this. Let's go.
Usually I'm right there with you on the alien stuff.
Yeah.
But I did read a little bit about this.
Here we go.
I figured I would be prepared.
VTT's cat food's on the show right now. So, hey.
Ready.
Anyway,
And so the only problem I have with it is that they found wood in the debris. Are we building UFOs out of wood?
I read that, right? Like branches or something? It was like,
like
wood or like it was
pieces of wood. Like,
okay.
Where are they getting that wood from? Where would you get it? So,
maybe a different planet. I
That's
don't
the
know.
thing that I don't really know. I don't get it. So it could be a weather balloon. But no,
wood
I
aliens.
don't know about that one. I don't know.
Why would
the wood?
Why would the military announce that it was a spacecraft and then like the following day?
Same reason the military announced Patello was killed by enemy.
Can you name another time where an officer put something out that may not have been correct?
Right.
I'm just saying. It's not fallible.
Yeah. See, Dave comes from Germany, so Dave thinks that the government is always right. Right. So
no choice of bullets out there.
He had no choice.
I'm the complete opposite, Nick.
They burned all the books, and I have 10% truth here because you're from Germany. So
right.
Wow.
That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with it could have been. There's a chance. I do think that it's ironic, if you will, that where the actual crash was. It was
like
not
rain on your wedding day.
It was not in Roswell.
It was in Corona, New Mexico, or something.
Corona.
Yeah.
There's like nothing out there, by the way. Like I don't know.
Corona, New Mexico. Yeah.
But the places between the large cities, there's nothing out there between the large cities.
It's New Mexico.
I know.
And it happened in the 1900s.
There's no water there.
Corona 19.
Can you imagine? There's probably like 3 horses in max.
That goes deep. And then obviously MJ13 was created.
And if you
like
add 32 plus 76 and divide it by 12,
it's 7.
Get, I don't fucking know, but we're going to go with Corona 19.
And then you got to turn those numbers around and then you get 666 for the devil.
And then tomorrow is Mother's Day. Don't forget tomorrow's Mother's Day.
That's a good point.
Yeah, don't forget that.
That's a whole different conspiracy.
If you understand biology, then it's Mother's Day.
All right, Joe, you ready yet? Joe, you ready yet?
Joe's not even on, Dave. Where are you ever been?
If you look at your screen,
I only see 4 people on my screen. So Nick,
I'll go. Yeah. This topic actually triggers me a little bit, and I'm not gonna become a pansy, but I am a little triggered. All right. Remember the Book of Earl, Chapter 1. Don't be a triggered pansy.
Doesn't that make you a pansy if you're triggered?
No. It's okay to be triggered. We cover this all the time.
Okay.
But you just don't want to be a pansy after you do get triggered.
Fair enough.
Right? So I do get triggered by this because it hits a bias of mine. And I shared a post from a year ago, actually 7 years ago, to Dave. And it's funny. You must not be on Facebook, Dave, because I tagged you in it. But he was talking about how the aliens built the pyramids, right? And at the same time frame, I was listening to a reading at my daughter's elementary school in Florida, and they called the people who built the pyramids workers. And I was like, no, they weren't workers. They were slaves, right?
Actually, not a huge deal, Nick, but that's been debunked. They weren't slaves. They actually were workers.
They
actually were working, yes. They were
paid very well. They were actually paid very well.
No, they weren't paid very well. The Hebrews were enslaved.
Hey, raise your hand if you've been to Cairo.
So I actually have been. But anyway, so they again, it's debunked by your revisionist history. It's debunked by
archaeologists.
They were enslaved by the Egyptians because the Hebrews were a great army, that they were conscripts off the Nile for Egypt. Egypt then enslaved them because they were on their northern border and there was nothing to do with them. Anyways, so I mean, show me the debunking, buddy. I'll bet you whatever paycheck you want to bet.
I mean, the pyramids is a whole nother discussion.
Right.
Like there were pyramids built in different places across the entire world.
They change it to workers. They change it to workers because the revisionist history doesn't want you to say that they were slaves. Okay, they were slaves. They were enslaved. So Dave thinks like he buys right into this, just like Buddy did, because whatever Alabama.
I don't necessarily buy right into it.
Buddy, weren't you raised in Germany, buddy? So yeah, this is another
not a huge deal.
This is another.
I just went somewhere and got cultured.
So
Can I raise my hand?
I got cultured.
So Dave and Buddy. Remember, nobody cut anybody else off. But anyways, Dave and Buddy were raised in Germany, where Dave said that they have the best education system on the planet, which is also why they believe that the Hebrews were workers for Egypt. Really?
Good.
God's chosen people were workers for Egypt. You're out of your fucking mind. Okay? There's a reason why everybody hates the Jews. Okay? Everybody hates the Jews.
Do we ever wrap it up, Fox?
What happened?
No, I was just curious, do you ever wrap it up?
UFOs still?
Everybody hates the Jews because they're God's chosen people, and they just tell you to go fuck yourself every chance they get. Okay, so that's literally what happened.
What did I stagger? What did I stagger
Historically
into?
not true because the reason
historically 100% true. They literally went from town to town and destroyed things.
Yeah, we're talking about Area 51, Joe.
Anyways, the aliens don't exist.
Okay.
All right, aliens don't exist. Period.
We're the only like speck in this entire
Aliens
fucking
don't
cosmos
exist.
and universe.
And you thought they came here and built fucking stone
Oh,
I
pyramids.
thought this was a
That's what you think
conspiracy
they
theory.
did.
I didn't know.
They
we were
fucking
getting-
came here and just built a pyramid. Okay, Joe's back on. What's Joe's thing?
10% of truth to that, though, Nick. Because
I
never said
want
that.
you to show me one primary source that says they were
Explain
hired.
to me.
Show me one primary source that they were hired. Just
So
one.
we're not gonna get into the
Oh,
conspiracy
Dave,
about
I
behind
always-
pyramids.
Just what?
Go. Nick is triggered, so please calm him down.
I told you I was triggered.
I can't.
I announced that from the beginning.
All I want you to tell me is how, so many years ago, pyramids were constructed on all different places of the world.
Right,
And these
because everybody
motherfuckers didn't even
before
know
us
each
was a
other.
fucking
They
moron.
didn't even know each other.
There wasn't a single intelligent person.
I'm
on this
about to get a
planet
towel and
3,000 years ago.
waterboard myself.
They were all
I
idiots.
never said that. I never said
They're all
that.
idiots.
He's like, I got the water. Let me get the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
they're trying to
gonna
copy-
pull a Bill
Hey,
Pearson
Joe,
and waterboard
Joe, you don't
myself.
get a chance to say anything because you finally changed rooms and fixed your internet.
So Nick
what's
thinks
up?
we are the
thanks.
only living beings in this entire, and they found bacteria
tell
on
you.
Mars, so that automatically tells you that you're full of shit.
Hey, did they find
Bacteria is a life
bacteria?
form.
Did they find
Bacteria
I'm
is a
just
life
fine with
form.
that because if this
Yeah.
conversation was a meal,
Bacteria is a
wasn't-
life form.
You
It's
sure
a
it
life
wasn't-
form.
Where was the bacteria?
Bacteria. This was like fucking 20 years ago. They
Okay,
fucking
yeah,
found
this
some
is
shit.
gonna fit. Hey, buddy, this is actually gonna fit
Feels like
really well
Grego.
into yours.
hey, ladies, this is not the
Bacteria
first
is a
time I've
life
heard
form.
this
I'm just
between
saying,
these
Nick.
two.
But anyway, we can.
I
we
just
can
find it
do a
funny
whole
that the two
episode on
people
this.
raised in the greatest education system on the planet, i.e., Germany, believe that the Hebrews were workers. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, go ahead, Joe.
We're triggered.
I told you.
You know, I'm ready. I'm absolutely ready.
Granny,
for
you're
us to
absolutely
move
right.
Past it.
Aliens
If
are
this
bacteria as well.
If this conversation,
Aliens are
I think
bacteria.
I've had my fill, so I'm good. I wanna hear what Buddy has to say in his honesty cap. I really do.
Well, Joe, what's your take? You got to at least say yes or no.
Just say
Dave, I missed
bacteria
half of
and
it.
slaves.
I missed half of it
Okay.
because my
All
screen
right.
was frozen, so I had
Yeah.
to restart everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know
Yeah.
what I've staggered into, but I'm really ready for Buddy's honesty cap.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Oh man, we need to do a whole episode on this one.
Can we take a
Pyramids.
fucking breath? Does everybody need a breather? We need
No,
a,
no.
like a virtual hug.
I'm
You two need a
taking that.
virtual hug.
Have you guys ever brought like an alpha stim on the show? Because I kind of
I'm
want
take-
to now. It's a movie.
I'm taking a
I
knee.
bet it was
I'm
hilarious.
taking a knee and I'm facing out.
No, they actually give
I
it to people
also
for
want to
PTSD.
face out.
I heard
What'd
that-
you say, Brandy?
Oh.
Joe
It's a
interrupted
movie.
you.
So they have it's called
Weird.
an alpha stim. Basically, like we could actually do a whole episode where I could put it on all of you, and you guys could actually prove
I do alpha stim.
afterwards. And it
Yeah,
works
that'd be
like-
good.
I actually wrote an article
It's
about it.
like electric meditation. It's awesome.
Yeah,
The
they,
meditative
they,
ways
cre-
for
they
alpha.
created it in Germany, and the Jews did it for.
They actually
for-
created
for
it in the
Christ.
1970s,
Yeah.
and they actually
They weren't
created
forced to do it. They actually did it out of their own will.
Well, I guess they were getting paid. Yes.
Somebody
Right,
help me.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yes,
The Jews are
like
paid
I
in
said,
Germany.
it actually works really well, and you can actually get it through the VA system for free. And it's actually a $700 machine outside of the US. You can actually get it at any pharmacy, but they're kind of gangsters a little bit here, so you have to get a prescription. But it's free for veterans with them.
Interesting.
I'm gonna have to get with you offline on that free part because they wanted me to pay for mine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
because you're
Not through the
America.
VA though, through the Army system.
Yeah. Welcome to the dumpster fire. I love when people try to stop the dumpster fire. Like buddy's texting
Hey,
me, like, "Hey, chill,"
do you-
you know, and it's like, buddy,
Do
buddy.
you guys want to hear what got me triggered today?
No,
I'm
you said
looking at
you
it
quit.
right now. It's 18. No, it's literally 18 inches off the window. A squirrel got into my bird feeder, and
Squirrel!
I want to catch this little bastard so bad in the act because I have like a bird sanctuary outside. I don't care. I'm old and I'm boring, and I like to watch birds.
You got
Sue me.
Cardinals? You got Cardinals?
So I've got Cardinals, Orioles,
I like
Robins,
Cardinals.
Blue Jays.
Those
I've
are
got
nice.
them all.
Oh, look
Bluebirds.
at all
They're-
the
Yeah. So this fucking squirrel keeps getting up there, and he knocked it over again. And I swear, it's like, if I ate squirrel, I would have killed him by now.
Squirrel soup's okay.
I heard it was pretty good,
God.
actually.
Yeah,
That little bastard. I got to get one of the ones that flings them. One of the spinny ones.
Those
Yeah.
like rubber band guns. Those were good. We've used those before for pesky squirrels.
You
I
just
had a
trap them
little
and
ru-
drown
I had
them.
I had a little rubber pellet gun that was like, it would sting you pretty bad, that I shot one in the butt with.
I don't think you
that
ever
was
had
a
a
lot
rubber
of
pellet
fun.
gun.
I absolutely did.
Nope.
Just turn it
That's
on
a
like
conspiracy.
I had a
Hey,
red
next
ru-
conspiracy. No,
I had a Red Ryder
Joe,
BB
Joe
gun too.
never had
when I was
that.
little.
Like
Oh.
that's a lie.
Buddy.
You can ask my wife about it. She's the reason I got rid of it. Yeah, she pretty much told me no more of that because you look like you're drawing down.
Oh,
a
maybe
squirrel.
we shouldn't have
I
fun
came-
on this show.
Bro, I came with the
buddy?
high ready.
Maybe we
It's
should,
real.
maybe we should
She's
just
like,
let it go.
You're scaring the
Maybe I
neighbors,
should.
Joe.
Maybe I
That thing
shouldn't
looks
have
like a
it
real
this
gun.
time
like
here,
backwards,
right?
laying down.
Like maybe I should just let it go. Buddy, what's up, man? What's up?
I mean, if you've ever seen Frozen, it worked for them.
Yeah,
Just let it
Frozen
go.
Like there was,
Now- now-
It did. Frozen made a lot of
It's
money. They
Frozen.
let it go.
yeah,
They
these
let
are
it
Squirrel's
the,
not
pri-
letting you go.
the primary sources that Dave and Buddy use is Disney. So, anyways, it's good. But anyways, go ahead,
For
buddy.
God's sakes.
Buddy, it's over to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Like,
Are we,
show
are
hey,
we
show
ready
everybody
for the
your part.
honesty
No, wait,
check, or are we
before you
still
start, show
debating
everybody your part.
aliens.
Your
Okay,
part.
I fixed it
Most good
because
stuff.
you were so angry about it.
Oh,
so
my-
I fixed
so-
it.
Oh,
no.
I'm living rent free in that motherfucker right now. Nice.
In where?
In your head, because you changed your hair.
No,
Like
I
what?
did this.
Like, okay.
That's all I
good.
did.
Uh-huh.
I literally ran my fingers through my hair. You could probably do it if you had enough.
Special forces.
Oh,
You don't have enough hair,
Mm.
so you can't do it.
well,
Nice hat though.
No, I
The
save
right
it all
one.
for my ankles.
Mm.
he's like, I save it for my chest.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The taco meat, throw it in.
So
Don't shave it. I'm a man.
My soapbox / honesty cat for today was going to be the whole SCOTUS abortion thing, but after
you
the first part of
pansy.
this show, fuck that, not touching
Yeah.
it.
You want to light that dumpster fire? Okay.
Y'all aren't ready.
It's not even a dumpster fire. It's actually
aren't
pretty
ready
clear
for that
cut.
talk. This would be a 6-way yelling match, but I have a standby, and here's my standby.
What do we
If
become,
you're a
Joe
man-
Rogan?
If you're a man and you're 40 years of age or older, stop getting your fucking septum pierced.
A what?
What the fuck
what?
is going
They
on?
do what?
Where all
Getting
these
what?
dudes that are our age are getting their nose pierced and their
Seriously.
eyebrows pierced again.
You
You're
guys not
not
to fuck with it for you?
freaking
Like, that's what I want.
Sugar Ray. It's not 1998. It wasn't cool when those same dudes got their nipples pierced back in 2001.
You love
Dave,
your nipples.
you know what I'm talking about.
No,
Dave's
Yeah,
got his
you
nipples
did.
pierced.
Dave
Yeah,
is
no.
It was a
Hater.
German thing.
no.
no,
Ain't
absolutely
nipples,
not.
the fuck.
That was
Not
not a
happening.
European thing.
The
Dave
nipples is over
definitely
it
got
now.
his nipples pierced. But
Mm-mm.
100%.
yes, you did.
Yes, you did. Dave,
Billion
shut the fuck up.
percent.
Yes,
You
100%.
were running around in your freaking child rap group with barbells in both your nipples. And you
Absolutely
would try to
not.
hide it, but you would put a shirt on that was way too tight and people would just see like
No, we wore baggy
it was
clothes.
like,
Barbells.
it was like
For
your
rappers.
chest was written in braille. Like
It basically is.
Got it. Yeah. So message to everyone that's above 40. Here's a little fashion tip for you. If it already came around one time in your lifetime, you can't do it the second time it comes around. Just because kids are getting freaking septum rings and nipple rings and freaking eyebrow rings doesn't mean you get to relive your childhood.
You had your chance.
You want to carry a pocket
You had
full
your
of
chance.
magnets with a newspaper
Damn it.
wrapped in a newspaper.
You blew
so
it.
I can throw it in their general vicinity and it just fucking nails them in the face.
How about they stop being fuckboys after the age of 40? Like, because you're grown as hell and you can act like a grown ass man. How about
Has
that?
everybody
Yeah,
seen
we're
Kindergarten Cop? For all those
Yes.
guys, I've got like one scene. Stop
Or
it!
Stone Vet, the Stone Vet
Not
says
a
Buddy is
Puma.
just upset he can't pull it off.
Stop it!
Pull off what? You know what? You know who can pull off a nose ring? Fucking cows. You look like somebody
They
that's getting
boom.
ripped around by your fucking nose. What are you talking about? You can't pull off a nose ring. You're right. I can't pull off a nose ring. You know
Because
why?
I'm not a
Because
cow.
I'm grown ass person.
You've got
I
to.
go
You've got to
fucking-
accept.
Like I have a
I've got to
job and a
accept your
business
nose
and
ring.
fucking
Well,
go to
then you have
school.
to
What do I
accept
look
how
like?
much.
What do I look
Yeah.
like walking into a fucking into a business and be like, "Hello, my name is Lawrence Beckles, and I'm
Like
here
a
to
guy
apply
who's
for
not
a
getting
loan."
fired.
Lawrence, I
Well,
like
I
that.
mean,
Yeah,
make sure
hey,
you
not
should
allowed to
Because you
loan
obviously
because
make
you don't even
responsible
good enough
decisions
decisions
by
about
putting
your
a-
nose health.
a
You got
hook
a
through your nose.
stud in it. You look like
Yeah.
an idiot. Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta accept my.
All right.
Hey,
There we go.
it's like you
That's
gotta
it.
accept
That's
my
it. I'm
nose
done.
ring.
That's the
Like-
honesty cap. So the honesty cap is don't get a nose ring if you're over age of 40. That's what we picked up from
Let it
that.
go.
Nice.
Yeah,
Just let it go.
It's not
the
for
time
you.
has passed. Right.
You are
And
not
Buddy,
now-
I've
and
never
don't
had
be
a piercing
surprised.
in my life.
Don't
Go
be
grab
surprised
your
if
white
I
pair of
ask you how
shoes,
much
just
per
like the
pound
rest of
because
us,
you look
and
like a
walk
black
around.
Angus steer.
I was really hoping you were going to go the dead puppy route again. That was such a great honesty cap
Nope.
there at the time. I was so hoping you were going to go that way.
Oh, about the homeless dogs.
But
No,
weird. It's
about
almost
the fact
almost
that
pets.
everybody's having this conversation about abortion right now, but if we changed it to puppies, people would be outraged.
right because
Because we
yeah,
care
nobody
more
wants
about
to kill puppies.
a
Like
puppy.
because puppies are
Homeless.
gorgeous, right?
Buddy's got a
Yeah.
problem with homeless
Right,
pets. He
babies-
thinks they're
babies
a
are
real
ugly.
problem.
Yeah. So, anyways, it is what it is. We're not going to get into it. We should though, buddy. We
I
should.
still hate this squirrel that lives
I
here.
mean, we
I'm
can
not,
get
I'm not
into
joking.
it.
I mean, we can
I
get
hate.
into
I
it.
absolutely hate
Explosive
this squirrel.
rage.
But
But
then
a
we
little
would have-
bastard.
we would have
Here-
an
here-
entire
here,
show
I
that would
showed-
just be everybody yelling about
I
it.
think
I
he gave me
showed-
like the finger with his little claw. The
Well,
one
again,
time while he was hanging off my feet and ruining it.
I showed the example of, when you get triggered, you lose your emotional intelligence, right? So you're not able to discuss things logically because you're just out of fucking control, right? So like when
Somebody hit rewind and play
Yeah,
it back for him.
exactly.
Is that what
That's
he's
what I'm
talking
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like that's I show you that, right? And again,
He just did that to give you an example of what not to do, Joe.
right.
That's
so
all.
so
We've
again,
all
you're,
grown.
you're not
We've all
a
grown.
hit. You're not a. We've covered this before. The Big Earl's covered this before. The Book of Earl says you're not a hypocrite for saying Dave's stupid, right? Because I'm stupid all the time too. So like it doesn't make me a hypocrite, but at the time, Dave's being stupid, right? So I just tell him that. That's what you should do, right? That's what friends do. Friends say, "Hey, you're being a fucking idiot right now, and I gotta help you out." Anyways, everybody needs to calm down on this abortion thing. We can get into it a little bit if you want, but everybody needs to calm down.
How do you get into it a little bit?
You don't.
Because
You don't really. It's too
anybody
emotional
how
of a
many
topic.
pages was the leaked report? Does anybody know? Because I read all of them.
I'm sure you did, Nick.
Anybody know? Exactly. So you're just going off of what you fucking heard on the news. All right. So stop being a triggered fucking
Yeah, I read
pants.
the clip notes.
Right. There
Read
are
Cliff
cliff notes.
Notes.
So the cliff notes that all the press is reporting about is 31 pages. Right. There's 31 pages written by the majority like leader of the Supreme Court. Right. And it's the first time it ever got leaked. So regardless of what your opinion is, right, it's not even a rule. It's not a law. Right. Nobody made a law. Nobody did anything. So calm the fuck down. It's simply like we always talk about conspiracies in the beginning. Like they're literally trying to stop you from thinking about what's really going on. There isn't a single state that has made abortion a right. Not a single state. Okay? That's constitution. Like it's literally like it doesn't matter what you think. I'm not even going to get into that. There's not a single state that made it a right. Okay? So like it's not constitutional. And that's all that judge was saying was like, hey, if they start using science to prove what life is, we might be in trouble here. We might have to overturn this here. Because just like when they made a federal ruling on putting Japanese in camps in America, right? Like that was a federal ruling. When they said it was okay to segregate schools, that was a federal ruling, right? Like it wasn't a law. It never got passed. Okay. So yeah. So that's what Buddy wanted to talk about. So calm down a little bit.
I feel like
take a breath. Right. It's not a law. Okay.
Hey.
Right.
And,
Hey,
but my favorite
I'm sorry that
part
I
of all
have to
this-
do this. I'm
Yeah.
Mr. Momming it this weekend. All right, I've got to do this. Give me 30 seconds and I'll be right back.
Bye, Felicia. Anyways, so
You don't have to be so mean about it.
So anyways, it doesn't matter. Okay. And the beauty of it is what I've been talking about the last 2 years during this COVID nonsense is you've seen a shift from left to right to where
Jesus, Joe.
Joe, shut that baby up.
Shut the baby up.
Ah! Anyways, so no.
Oh, we're gonna
that's
get him triggered when he comes
yeah.
back.
No, he's gonna be triggered. But anyways, no, that's George coming. George, what's up, George? Anyways, so just remember that. Okay, there's a paradigm shift here happening where people are like, all of a sudden they're on the right, they're on the left. Guess what every major corporation is doing right now to announce something that isn't even a law? They're saying that they will pay for their female employees to travel to a state to go get an abortion. What does that mean, liberals? That means that the private sector, capitalism, just fucking took care of you. Do you know how hard that is for a liberal to accept? Where it's like, well, yes, capitalism, the private sector is going to take care of you, right? Okay. Anyways, we're at it. We're at 3:30. I was waiting for 30 minutes, Dave. Okay.
I didn't say anything.
Okay.
I wasn't really listening to you either. So.
No, I know you weren't because it would make too much sense. So
in your mind, yes.
Yeah. In Germany, I would have got an F. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the problem
we didn't have F's.
Oh, here we go. We got Buddy triggered.
No, we didn't get Buddy triggered.
Oh, what's up?
I mean, what you said is 100% correct. First of all,
100?
The federal government can't make you do anything that's not in the Constitution, and
or when the states amend it.
Illegal. It's not covered under the Constitution. Therefore, they just put it back to the states to decide. Not a huge deal, whatever. I think what it did, though, was bring the conversation back to the forefront, and then it brought the people that think that it's probably a bad idea to kill babies, and then people that apparently are willing to pay for people to drive to different states to do that. And then, there's always you don't have a uterus, so you can't say anything, people, and all of that. Anyway, all of those people are now, kind of butting heads. So that's where all of the outrage is coming from. It's not the federal court case. It's just the discussion is coming back again. And
wait till you hear my lead into our guests. Wait till you hear my lead into our guests. It's going to be awesome. No, you're right. Yeah. You're right. I wouldn't call you 100% right like you called me. I appreciate that.
All right.
But there's that there's that analogy, or what is it? What do you when you use nature for something? Haiku, allegory, fucking whatever. Right.
There's an analogy.
Yeah, whatever.
I believe it's the Pythagorean theorem.
The Pythagorean A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So I'm going to do the A and the B. Right.
It had enough syllables.
So if you put a bunch of ants, red and black ants, in a can, they're not going to fight each other. But if you shake that shit up, all right, they start fighting each other. All right, that is exactly what all this shit is. All right. So, but anyways, we've all proven right now, and I was a main culprit of it. Okay, that we're all fucking nuts. All right, we're all mental. We got no fucking idea what's going on. Right? Yes, you are, buddy. Like I made you change your hair. Okay, we're all nuts.
Perfectly calm, dude.
Okay? I think it looks better personally.
We're all nuts.
Calmer than you are. I'm calmer
than you are. The good thing is that there are people that can help us. Okay, there are people that can make us not be as retarded as we are. And that's who we have on the show. We got Sarah and we got Nicole, aka Natalie. Okay, we got both of them on the show. They started the Ohana Homefront Foundation, right? And they take care of a lot of mental health needs. And they are here. They have joined the dumpster fire, the Veteran Trash Talk Hour. We appreciate you guys. So the floor is yours, and it just happens to be the Penda month or whatever that's called. So this is perfect. So Sarah, Nicole, welcome to the Trash Talk Hour. What do you got?
Thank you. So it is not Dependa month. Yesterday was Dependa Day.
Oh,
it's military. I know. It's always the Friday before Mother's Day, but it's the whole month. So it's military appreciation for the whole military community month, not just Dependa month. So I'm just going to correct you on that. But yes, so it's good to be part of this dumpster fire. It's kind of nice to be back into this kind of swing. My husband did his 21 and a half years, and this is all I was around. So it's really nice, and I can handle it. So that's a good thing. Nicole is not affiliated with the military, so she's been blowing up my phone. So.
Yeah, what does that mean? What is wrong with these people?
I don't know what they're saying. I don't know the language.
Hey, these are the people that I help. So yeah.
Yes.
So we started the Ohana Homefront Foundation back in October. My friend Natalie Ely and I started it. And she's a Marine Corps spouse, and her husband's still active duty, and her son-in-law is a Marine. And so we got together and we decided something needed to change within the whole community. Not just veterans, not just active duty, not just spouses. We need to treat the whole puzzle, not just one piece of it. So we decided to come up with something that could do that. Free of charge, nothing that we have costs a dime to anybody. We take care of National Guard, caregivers, kids, reservists, literally anybody involved within the military community. We're open and ready to help them. And so we're actually we're going to be launching a crisis center. It's going to be virtual. It's going to be a hotline, text line, and chat line. Hopefully by 23, that will happen. The accreditation, if you ever need help falling asleep, read the accreditation manual for a crisis center. Like, it will help.
I just get hammered.
There's so much.
I was going to say, Nick, pay attention. He just drinks. He might need some other methods. Yeah, go ahead.
Says the guy who can't remember what day it is. Yeah.
PTSD, right?
Sure. What's the resources that you have for them?
Stop interrupting the guests. This is their time. Yeah, sorry. Good.
No, it's fine. You can interrupt all you want.
No. I know
It's
we
not
can.
gonna
I'm just messing with Dave.
Whatsoever. I mean, I raised 3 children to adulthood. I am used to being interrupted.
Oh, buddy, there's somebody in your house.
Go ahead, Sarah. Go ahead.
There is. There's someone behind him.
Get him, buddy. Yeah.
But whenever you think about suicide awareness and suicide statistics and stuff, you always know the 22 a day or the 6,007 a year or the almost 600 active duty. You know, you hear those numbers, but you don't hear anything about the spouses and the families. And that is something also we want to change. Because in 2019, because we know 2020 was a dumpster fire and 2021 stats have not been released. And this is just reported. In 2019, the reported suicide deaths were 202 within our military spouses, and then 72 between the ages of 12 and 23, and just reported. So who knows what got scraped under the rug? Who didn't want to go for help? You know, and I get on my soapbox a lot because I see it all the time on social media where so-and-so went to the VA or they called and they got hung up on because they wanted help. Like, they actually took the time to reach out and say, hey, I want help. And they got hung up on. One of them was hung up on after he was told, you know, contact your psychiatrist in the morning. Well, what is that going to do for him? And now the VA is wanting to add another line, and they don't even have workers on the one that they have that actually will listen and do their job. So what is the point of the second line?
And if they do, there's not the resources to continue that help. So there's not the continuum of care either. So then we overwhelm the ERs, the hospitals, and it just turns into this big revolving door where we're not even treating the root of the suicidal behavior. It's just managing, and nobody actually gets what they need.
Right, Western medicine.
Yeah.
We're putting Band-Aids on.
Right,
And
Western
we're
medicine
doing
is a Band-Aid.
And and we're doing the military way. You know, here's some Motrin, you'll be fine.
Suck it up, buttercup.
You know.
Yep.
And it's not working. And I don't understand how people aren't noticing that it's not working.
Well, because it gets them out of their comfort zone. So nobody wants to get out of their comfort zone and talk about it. So again, I'm excited to have Brandy on here, and then, like, you know, the same thing with the Throw Punch Monday, with when Leah was on here and Len's taking over now, is nobody wants to listen to what they're saying. Not because it's not true. It's because it's very uncomfortable.
It is.
So
it is.
Yeah,
it's also
not a bad word.
Yeah, well, Nick, you've talked about it a couple times before. You know, we have a very lateral way of looking at things, and it's a holistic problem, right? So
yes,
you know,
systematic.
We all have the same problem. Like, so if your wife or husband comes to you and you're a military member and says, hey, I have all these issues, you know, then you're put into a place where you have to go talk to your leadership and tell them that you have all of these issues. Well, then they look at you like, well, you can't take care of your household. Like, what's going on in your house? Or, oh, is she having mental issues because you're beating her? Is she having mental issues because you're doing that? So they don't want to do it. And then let's face it, for the leadership or the military, the spouse,
don't fuck up your pronouns,
or a woman, or even the dependents don't really have a, like, they're not beans, bullets, or live fires. You know what I mean? So because they don't have a direct correlation with the mission, then it's very hard for them to understand that they need to help take care of it. And to be honest, I've been on both sides of that. I remember when in my team we had 3 guys get divorced in a year. I was the third one. But when the first guy got divorced, I was like,
I was the last,
okay,
buddy.
Cool, whatever. But it was no discussion. Like, it wasn't like, you know, what's going on with your wife? What's going on with your kids? Any of that stuff. I didn't really understand, because honestly, the guy's wife was a horrible fucking human. In like at every facet, she was just not a great person.
He's wearing gloves because he's murdering somebody right now.
I was just wondering that, but go ahead,
I'm
buddy.
about to clean up some cuts because I've got my own domestic duties I have to do real quick.
Yeah, his son crashed his bike, so
but
he's gonna take care of him.
But at the end of the day, like it's a problem. Like, the spouse doesn't want to say anything because you know, I mean, you can.
I was just going to get to that. Yep.
You can say that the person in the military is like the rock of the family, but everybody really knows that, you know, when it comes down to it, and you know that you have to leave, the person that you count on, I mean, you can't do a lot of things without a solid spouse there. So, you know, she doesn't want to say anything because then she looks weak. The guy or the girl that's in the military doesn't want to say anything because then they look weak. And the leadership doesn't want to do anything.
Or they could get reprimanded.
Yeah, they don't want to take the blame for ruining their career.
There's that stereotype and that stigmatism they don't want also.
Yeah, we've had, so my husband was Navy, so I follow a lot of Navy stuff, but the George Washington is a big issue right now. They have had, there were 3 suicides within 3 weeks. And then we had the Farragut down in Florida. One of the spouses, her husband actually went to the command and was like, I need help. And they actually reprimanded him, docked him pay and everything, and made him stay on the ship. And how is that helping? Because then now the spouse is, you know, worried, and now there's money, and there's so many different parts that play. And, you know, and it does come from thinking back to, you know, not necessarily the Farragut situation or the George Washington, but if you think about a military member, let's say when Joe Schmo joins, right? And they come home and they tell their spouse, well, this is everything that I learned. If I go get help, then I get in trouble, or I'm going to look weak. And so the spouse, that's what they internalize it, and they think, I can't get help. You know, I'm just going to hold it all in, and then I'm going to explode is what's going to happen because I've done it.
Yeah, right. As a medic, we saw.
And then the kids hear it. And the kids are like, well, you know, I can. So we need to treat the whole
system.
Bit. And we
need to recognize
system. Yeah. So go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, sir.
No, sorry. We're working with legislators and delegates and congressmen and stuff like that, and meeting with them, because this is something that needs to move higher up than us, and to get things to work for us, not against us. So that's kind of where we are. And with the hotline, text line, and chat line, it also, I like to look at it as like a safe haven for the active duty, especially unless it's a mandated reportable, they would have that safe haven where they could make a phone call, they could send a text, you know, and have somebody to talk to and not have to worry about it getting back to command.
Yeah, I was
unless
gonna say that.
mandated reportable.
And who's on the other side of the chat? Are we talking about medical professionals or just like volunteers who want to, you know, because sometimes all it takes is a helping ear, you know, like somebody who will listen to your issues.
Can we coin that phrase? A
helping hand. I get it, but like in this case, we're talking about ears.
I want to coin it. I want to coin it. Make it a t-shirt. Make it a t-shirt.
I guess would be that I know a lot of times they choose like laws and policies based off of reporting. However, we all know that it's very oftenly unreported. It's put under their rug, or they just NJP the shit out of them and separate them for something else because they know that it would be like unlawful command influence. So what are you guys doing to offset this in these cases?
So as far as reporting, so we also partner with Foresight Mental Health. And so we're going to take our statistics that we bring in and compare them to what we're getting through Blue Star Families, because they just did a big mental health. It was just a big, they did, and they have a lot of statistics that for our families that they had put out. But we'll be able to use our statistics and take that to them and say, okay, well, this is what we're getting. This is what they're getting. So if you put these together, why are we not doing anything about it? And having all these numbers from all different aspects. But as far as volunteers, sorry, I didn't mean to go from one to the other.
No, it's your time. It's your time now. We had our half hour. You go.
You go. You're doing great.
And
taking a lot from what you said, so keep it going.
The ranked at a time, and then one time I stopped.
Are you guys doing anything to offset like the opioid abuse in the I guess spouse community? I know that was something that
don't get mad, Joe. It's just a joke.
Because it's not reported in like the 20.
I just want you to be funny when you fucking interrupt.
Yeah, we haven't actually brought that up yet, Brandy, but that is something that is on our list. Yeah, because we're 7 months old, so we're still a baby, but it's been a lot of work. Like I joked that we gave birth and it joined the high school track team. We didn't even have a counseling team, anybody on our team at all at the time, and within 2 days we were getting messages on Facebook from spouses.
What you're offering is so needed. Like that's why I'm amazed that it's finally something that's boots on ground doing it, not some asshole behind the screen. Oh, guys, what we're doing today, guys. No, you're actually.
Yeah, I don't play those games, and I'm very open and honest about what we're seeing, or if we haven't worked on something. And I always tell people, and if anybody is watching and listening, if you guys have any ideas of anything that you would like to see, like we will take
lots
it
of
to
people watching and listening right now.
Yeah, that's why I brought up the volunteer thing, Sarah, because I mean we see it on BTT all the time. We have a bunch of vets that hit us up on like BTT official. They'll private message us and they're going through some shit, and the community will spring into action, help them out. But like a lot of times we get overwhelmed with
we
it,
got no idea what you're going through. Like it's like,
and it happens all the time, and we've on record we've saved lives. So like with the community that we have, if you're taking volunteers, just vets, I'm sure there will be tons of them that would love to. Like I'd be a part of it. Like you tell me, you can call me between these times, 6 and 8. I'll be available for anybody. Like I would do that stuff. That's what it's all about.
Dave, to caveat on that. Go ahead, Sarah.
Everybody will be volunteer. Our entire team, from me to our board of directors, everybody, we're all volunteer. None of us are paid. And so we're fundraising for this hotline, text line, and chat line, because just to get it off the ground, it's going to be $25 grand to get everything accredited in the way we need it to be. We will have counselors on staff. I say staff, they're volunteers.
To elevate, basically.
Yeah. Apply for some grants. I think you'd probably be eligible for quite a few.
We have an amazing grant writer that is starting to push through for grants.
Absolutely.
And then we have a major event that I'll talk about in a little bit. But so volunteers, always taking them. And for the hotline, text line, and chat line, everybody will go through training. Every volunteer, everybody that's a clinician will go through it. Right now we have 3 licensed counselors licensed in 4 states. But that's where Foresight Mental Health kind of comes in as our partner. They actually came to us and said, we're going to set up a link and a phone number specifically to you. So if people call with that phone number or click on that link, we'll have those statistics for you.
Hey, Sarah.
I like it.
Yeah, Sarah, I have people that we'll talk after the show and I'll email you. We have people that can assist in this that have been on the show and done this stuff. So I will hook you up with them, and it's your guys' job to grow it.
There's a
for sure.
Here's something that touches home to me, and I'm sure it touches home to all of us. But my wife one time said, "Do you ever realize what it's like to talk to a baby for 12 months?" Mm-hmm. Right, like to where you don't have an adult to have a conversation with.
Or friends, because you just moved.
Yeah. Or friends, because you just moved somewhere.
Hard.
And now, obviously, every FRG is led by some colonel's wife, right? Okay?
Not all, but yeah.
I'm just saying. Like whatever. Like my wife ran the FRG as well as an enlisted person, but like, it's.
Yeah.
People don't think about that. That's another forgotten aspect. To where it's like when you got some 19-year-old or 20, 22, 23, 24, even a staff sergeant, 25 years old, right? They're married, they deploy, and let's say they want to progress their career, they go to Ranger school, they go to BUDS, they become a SEAL, they do these things, they go here, all of a sudden they're gone all the time. Mm-hmm. Right? And then, or you got a woman with a male dependent, and they decide to go join a force where they deploy all the time. Right? All the time. And it's like that spouse is literally talking to a kid for 12 straight fucking months.
I will say,
and handling everything else.
Like they
finances, house, doctor's appointments.
Right.
Appointments.
That's the other things, Dave. You're right. That's the other things. But it's literally they have not had an adult conversation for a fucking year.
Right.
And like I said, my wife voiced that in my on our second deployment, where she was like, I haven't talked to a fucking adult in like 6 months. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh shit, so it's like, what do you got that will help? So tell people how that will help, and tell people how they can donate to you. Tell them where to go to do that, because this is awesome. So go.
Yeah, because it is. I mean, and I base a lot of stuff on my experiences, and I know Natalie does too. Whenever we started this. Not Nicole,
not Nicole,
the
Natalie.
Actual Natalie.
That's what the actual Natalie.
Natalie.
Damn it.
The real Natalie.
Yeah.
So my husband, on his last ship in Florida, he deployed 4.5 times in 5 years. And so it was me and 3 kids and 2 dogs. And our kids were elementary age at the time, so it was fine, but no cats. Okay. My son's allergic to cats. No cats.
So you don't need any cat food.
You hear that, Chris?
No cat
Chris,
food.
no cat
Maybe
food.
some dog food, but no cat food. I'm good on cat food. No, don't need it. But then his last 3 years active duty, he did in Hawaii while the kids and I stayed here in Virginia.
My goodness.
And so it was me and 3 teenagers alone. So again, I made it out unscathed. All 3 of my kids are adults. They're all over 20. I have a grandbaby. So that I've made it. But
I've got a question for you. Did you
7.
find that when he was home, because of how much time you had to play both roles, when he came home and tried to assert himself as a father, did you find that it got in your way? And basically, like, it wasn't helping because you were so used to doing both jobs that you did it your own way? Because that's what I feel like a lot of us run into. They're like, hey, I've had
it is difficult
last year.
Joe, take care of your kid. He's crying.
Hey, listen, he just needs more Cheerios.
Shut that baby up.
All right.
Get him some goldfish.
You're good. You're good, Joe. That's not a real thing. It's not a real thing, Joe. Let the baby cry. Let the baby cry.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes and no. I mean, our girls were starting their senior year and our son was starting his junior year. So it wasn't like they were little. But there again are a whole new set of problems when they're teenagers in that age versus elementary school. And in elementary school, he always joked, this is Sarah's house. I'm just living in it. I just come to visit. So we kind of had that camaraderie, and we've been together since 1995. I mean, it's, it is what it is. And we just kind of have an unspoken thing where I'm saying this live, that I kind of wear the pants a little bit sometimes, especially when it comes to the kids.
Hell yeah.
But the kids, I mean, they're extremely close to me, all 3 of them. But that's because I was around all the time. I was the one that was there, and so he knew he knew which direction to go and where not to tread and where to tread and stuff like that. So we were lucky with that. As far as donations, we are always taking Our website is ohanahomefront.org. Be nice about the baby.
No, he knows I'm joking. I love George. George, calm down.
He just wants to be on.
So ohanahomefront.org. And we have all of our information, our resources are there. How to volunteer. We are always looking for volunteers, like I said. And we have a major event coming up in November, Veterans Day weekend on that Saturday. It's going to be a 5K, a kids run. We have 3 bands coming. One's coming from Nashville. We have food trucks and all kinds of fun things, and it's on the water, so we're going to put lanterns in the water at dusk for those that we've lost.
Real
so
Hawaiian.
If anybody wants to come,
I said real Hawaiian.
Kind of, yeah,
for sure. No, hey, let us know let us know what we can do to help that, but you got to post that. Are you guys on the thread for Veteran Trash Talk or Gruntworks right now on your phones or anything like that? So
I am.
Post that on the thread. And again, we have people with fat pockets that donate to this stuff all the time. So
yeah, we're looking for sponsors for that. But then we also, again, like I said, we are working really hard to get our hotline, text line, and chat line up sooner rather than later. And with that, it's going, that's the big hefty amount. We were really lucky. My husband's boss, my husband is a contractor now. And
so he kills people for more money.
His boss actually donated $2,000 to us.
Nice.
For us to be able to file our 501c3. Otherwise, I don't know how we would have done it.
Dang it, I was hoping for a cooler story. You can make it up. Nobody will ever call you out of it, so it's fine. No, I want to appreciate what you guys are doing. So please, guys, if you're watching, go donate to their organization. Like I said, this hits me personally, with what they're talking about, to where people, we always forget about everything. That's human nature, right? We don't think about Gold Star families. We don't think about Gold Star kids, right? So you got Gold Star Teen Adventures that Bill always promotes on our fight show, right? We don't think about the kids. Right. So
did you know that there are White Star Moms now? Have you heard of the White Star Moms? White Star Moms is a new one, and it's for those that have lost their service members to suicide.
Right.
Ooh.
Okay.
So again, you can watch this show, you can listen to it. If you don't like what Sarah and Nicole are saying, then don't donate to them. Right. But I don't think that's going to happen. But this is the whole point of our page. Our page and our show is to be like, hey, look, this is who the people are. If you don't like them, then don't donate to them. But if you actually want to put skin in the game and you want to help, here's another chance. And we do it every week, every Saturday. If you want to donate to this, please do it. All right. Donate to their cause. Because like I said, it's personal to me, because it's PTSD, I guess. I have a trigger in there every time I hear this, because when my wife said to me, I haven't talked to an adult for like 6 months. And I'm sitting there like, holy shit. Like,
and it even happens when you're not deployed. You know, coming home from work, and it's like, then your spouse just wants to talk. You're tired. You're worn out. I just want to eat and go to sleep, you know, and then she wants to talk, and then it causes trouble at home. You know, it's It's worse
when you're overseas too, because sometimes you don't speak English. You don't know anybody.
Or you're getting lied to by the FRG, you know, about what's going on. Like, I love that. Oh, that was our favorite guy, Ziesman, right? I'm retired. Fuck you, Colonel Ziesman. You were a douchebag. Okay. So like, boom. Ziesman, okay, he told all the wives that everybody has internet connection and everybody has the time to talk to their wives.
How many fights did that cause? What a ridiculous statement.
Oh my God.
Hey, but my ex-wife, you remember when my ex-wife made sure that we got food? Because you said we were getting food?
No, you did that with the fucking, because you
Dude,
were a
my
rapper.
9-year-old
and
stepson made sure we got
Zeesman.
pillows. We did not have internet connection all the time.
So like, he was the greatest colonel of all, Zeesman, of all time, right? Like,
he was definitely a bro.
Right. So it's like he literally told all the wives that we had all the time in the world to talk to our spouses. And my spouse was like, motherfucker hasn't talked to me in like 2.5 weeks. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. I was like, we have like 3 phones and we're on 22-hour missions. I don't gotta I don't like, sorry. Like, that's all I can say. Sorry.
We're all calling home, getting our heads ripped off. Like, wait.
So this
what?
is extremely important.
No, I didn't. I didn't. Yeah.
So again, tell us where to donate. Tell people where to donate. Let's get this happening.
Yes. OhanaHomefront.org. Under the support tab is every single link on how to donate. We have Cash, Venmo, PayPal, all the things. And if you want to volunteer, you can just email me straight, president@OhanaHomefront.org, and we'll get you plugged in. Yeah, and speaking to that of the higher ups, it's something that we need to bring to them too. You know, you need to take care of your people, because
for sure
they're out here doing this, and then the families are struggling because you're saying this. And I get really worked up about it. So yeah.
And how far are you holding them accountable?
I'm just telling you right now,
There's
the
always a
Veteran
billboard.
Trash Talk Nation, the Gruntworks Nation, anybody watching or listening on the podcast later on, because again, this audio goes to a podcast. I think this will be a really good podcast. So when this podcast goes on, please, you don't think about those people. You don't think about the spouses. You don't. And that's okay. It's not your problem. It's not your fault, but you don't think about them. All right. We are telling you to think about them. All right. Think about those people that are out there doing things that you couldn't even possibly imagine.
Yep.
And every time the fucking phone rings, you think it's somebody calling you to tell them that your spouse is dead. Right. So when that phone rings, from that weird block number that it comes from, their heart just fucking drops. Okay, it drops, and then it's you, and then they're happy as shit, right? And then like please don't forget about them either, and don't forget about the Gold Star families and the White Star families and the Blue Star families, and that's what they do. So if you got any scratch in your pocket, if you got $10, right, give it to these ladies, because they know, because they're dependents, right? Like give it to them. Let them help them, if that makes sense. Sarah.
Well, I mean, especially that they're asking for volunteers. I think that should be easy. I mean, we have a huge reach between all the platforms. Like, how many volunteers are you ladies looking for? You know, like
we will take as many as possible.
Literally as many as we can get.
Can you explain to the audience what that would look like? Are they just going to do the phones? Like, what are you specifically like?
Because there's going to be a lot of people signing up for this.
Yeah. What would be some of their tasks, or, you know, how do you kind of have that allocated?
So I'll say how I feel that it's going to be, and then I'll let Nicole talk, because I feel like I haven't let Nicole say a word. Like, I've just talked the whole time.
Well, you're opposing rank.
Well, you know.
You're right. Sort of.
She loves me, so I can say that.
Shut up until I'm done. No.
So we will have volunteers, meaning phones, and everybody's going to have shifts. So it's not going to be like a full day, and you can pick the times that you want, stuff like that. Obviously, this is not going to happen until we have our hotline, text line, and chat line, and all of the accreditation and all of those things. But getting people in place is definitely a priority in my mind. So when it does happen, we are ready literally to hit the ground.
Yeah.
We originally wanted it for 2022, and then we met with a lady up in Maryland that runs one, and I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen in 22. Let's go with 23. So right now it's resources, but volunteers if they want to help with that. If anybody's listening and they are a licensed clinician in the mental health field, we would be happy to take them also. It is volunteer, but they can choose when they.
We got a bunch.
Yeah, because you mentioned that. I think it was important.
I'll hit you up offline about that.
I think it was important that you mentioned that again, because obviously as vets, you know, we're volunteering, but if there's a crisis, there's something serious going on, it has to be elevated to somebody who knows how to deal with the situation, you know? And then you guys are talking about actually having staff like that as well. So yeah, I love it. I love the content. And this will be just anywhere in the US, obviously. I mean, it's a phone number. So like, yeah.
It's a phone number and a text line and a chat line. So like, I've always, you know, when my kids were growing up, I'm like, so what's the new big thing? Because my background's internet marketing. I'm like, what's the next big thing? Where do we need to be? And they would tell me. And so I want to meet them where they are, because if we only have a phone number, how many people are actually going to pick it up? Let's call it what it is. Teenagers don't even know that you can talk on a phone.
Oh yeah, it's just text messages. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep.
So if we can meet them with a text line and a chat, life will be hopefully better. You know, they will have that person to talk to on the other side. So Nicole, what would you have to add to that?
Yeah, so what I would add to that, especially for volunteers who want to join our clinical team, they really do get to set their hours and the number of clients that they're willing to take, just because we know that we all have jobs outside of here, so we don't want to overwhelm anybody. But we also, one thing that we want to do a little bit differently is a lot of the treatments for the military community right now are CBT based or cognitive behavioral. So we know so much about trauma that
Can you spell cognitive?
I can.
You gotta do that. Yes, you gotta do that before you use the word.
Oh my gosh, now that you say that, I'm gonna
exactly. Pressure. No, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, yeah. No, Buddy's interested now. Buddy just got alerted. So yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you start talking about spelling, I get anxious. Yeah. So I'm like, he wasn't asking me to spell something, was he? Because I can't spell shit.
I always know how to spell until people ask me, and then I'm like, oh God, I don't know how to spell anymore.
Cognitive. That's easy all the time.
But we want to actually bring in some somatic therapies. So I actually, Brandy, I loved that you brought in the alpha stim earlier, because I use that with where I work now.
We have a lot of Marines watching. Could you explain what that is?
Yeah, so in feeling in the body, the way that you're physically experiencing things. So with what we know about trauma is, like, when we go through these traumatic experiences, it's getting stored in that part of the brain where those memories can be reactivated later in life by like smell, sound, whatever things from the environment. It's really hard to reach that with cognitive therapies, because that part of your brain is kind of offline. Not like fully offline, but you don't have as much access to it. Yep. So imagine standing on a train track and this train is coming at you. You're not going to stand there and go, is this threat real? What's going on? You're going to jump out of the way. And so there's a lot of therapies that we can do to get at that part of the brain to actually help the body feel safe so that we can do that work. So that's something that we really want to add to the military community. But in addition to that, to kind of piggyback off of what you said, Sarah, I have kind of a lofty long-term goal for the crisis center line to not only have the chat line, but have mobile crisis teams and that continuum of care. So, you know, eventually would like to have places where maybe we can have people go for mental health, like have our own place, but also.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so where we're at now, though, because there's only a couple of us on the counseling team, if we don't have the resources, if we don't have the time for clients, we're going to find the resources for you. So like Sarah sent me a couple people like, hey, this person needs this. So we'll reach out and talk to them, see what their needs are, and then we'll go look for resources that we feel would be appropriate in the area.
So I have a question. You guys are a 501c, right? So is it not, and you may have already done this, it may be a stupid idea, but have you reached out to other practitioners in the area? And I mean, because they can donate their time to the 501c as a tax deduction and allow them to kind of try to volunteer or help. And then if a spouse volunteers, does she get, there's a lot of like if they're in school to try to be a clinician or whatever, can they volunteer and then use those hours as like internships or whatever?
Good.
Critical hours, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Nicole question.
No, I can answer this for Nicole. Yes, she knows that
because you don't work for the organization.
But
Hey, it's Nick. He can answer it.
Did you not listen to what she just said? She's educated. Okay. Yes. But go ahead, Nicole. Yes, ask that, please.
So I was going to say, I'm actually not super familiar yet. So that's something that we're kind of learning as we're going. But I would love that if people could get hours through working.
Text me, buddy. There you go.
Amazing.
And one thing I would like for us to be able. Oh, go ahead, Sarah.
No, but we're also part of the Presidential Service Awards, so they get they can accumulate hours and get a certificate or a medal or whatever for lifetime achievement for volunteering with us as well. And I believe so. Military spouses, that's a big thing. It's finding work, and so they have gaps in their resume. Add the volunteer. Whatever they use with volunteer. I did a whole podcast on that one, on volunteering and why it's important.
What's your podcast at?
Use that. Oh, I actually guest host with Behind the Service podcast every other Wednesday.
Plug it.
Nice.
What is it? What is it?
So Behind the Service podcast, they do podcasts every single day, but I take over every other Wednesday. And I'll have a different topic every Wednesday. So I did imposter syndrome one Wednesday, and I've done volunteering, why it's important. And we've done so many different ones. This next one's going to be about mental health and open doors. So.
No, awesome.
I love this. I love this. I like the idea.
I've got a baby.
Wait, Joe's going to talk. Do it, Joe.
Listen, no, thank you, ladies, for being here. I got a baby emergency. I got to tend to it. I got to duck out just a minute early.
He's like, it's a blow out.
I apologize for the technical.
Did he blow a leg hole?
He's not happy with me right now.
Those of you listening are watching for the first time. All right. If you're watching for the first time or listening, we started this for our own therapy. Okay. Like Joe, Dave, me, Buddy, there's nothing that can help Buddy.
I don't need therapy.
But exactly. He doesn't need therapy, right? Even though he keeps showing up and he keeps doing other things because he knows that it's true, right? Like the therapy is that we're here discussing things, talking, having fun, BSing, all that stuff. Okay. Like that's why we started it. And it's gotten big and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because it's authentic. All right. Again, if you don't want to donate to the Obama hashtag.
Ohana.
Yeah. You see the quotes, buddy, is a joke. All right.
It automatically autocorrects.
Yeah. It automatically Ohana autocorrects to Obama. I don't get it. But anyway, so if you want to donate to the Ohana Homefront Foundation, these are the ladies. They're the ones doing it. Like they're the ones putting the skin in the game, not taking a paycheck. Okay, that's who they are.
That's commitment right there.
If you don't like it, then don't donate. All right. It's that simple. If you like it, then give them some scratch because it's happening.
You change your life.
Yeah, buddy.
Donate your time. Something? Your time is more. It's more than
right.
Money.
That's the other avenue. You could donate your time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know Dave. This might upset Dave. Don't get mad. All right. Don't get triggered. But he's a huge government influencer, right? He loves big government. He's from Germany. But, all right.
I don't know where you get this shit from.
It's like, and then we're running it back.
Yeah.
Because you're from Germany. But anyways, we are the only ones that will solve this problem. People that are tied into the community. We are the only ones that can solve it. All right. And
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many spouses out there that are neglected, whether they're man or woman, right? Neglected because they have no freaking idea what's going on. And it's heartbreaking when I said that's why it hit home to me. It's heartbreaking when you listen to what they had to deal with. And then all of a sudden they're just supposed to be fucking normal. Like, oh yeah, here I am. No. Like no. So, and
It's good.
It's not man or woman. Like, this is a tremendous thing that's forgotten about. That buddy Dave, Joe's gone. So, like, when's the last time we talked about military spouses not having to deal with this stuff? Yeah, no, yes, us, like not personally, buddy. No, that's cool. But
well,
no, what have we talked about that problem? We haven't talked about that problem.
No, we haven't.
Where, like it's not necessarily a problem. It's just I'd say an issue. Like
an issue.
The battles that they face.
The sad part about the entire thing is that back in the day, this was all a function of the FRG, and then slowly, as the FRG got their reputation was,
and as the army got bigger,
by like infighting within the FRG and this person and that person and gossip and bullshit. They don't have that core group of people that can be there because that would have been a thing that the FRG would have taken care of at some point. But like, I mean, I remember like going to, like, because you have to go to your mandatory pre-deployment FRG meeting, and you go and it's just like shit you've heard, shit you've heard, shit you've heard, shit you've heard.
Yep.
And then it seems like even when you go on deployment, you call and you're like, hey, what are you guys doing with the FRG? Nothing. Like, I remember.
Hey, they were going to South Beach in 2004.
Yeah, well, when I went on my first deployment back in 1999, not a huge deal.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, my wife at the time, like I had
years
just
in the
got
service.
married. My wife went to at the time went to the FRG, and then like went out with was friends with an E5's wife, and they were both young, so they hung out. They had game night at the house. They did all that kind of stuff, and then they there were a couple times that they went out, and Jesus, I got calls on deployment, which was crazy because that was back when you had to like talk like
satellite phone,
and they were like, yeah, your wife's out here running around. And I'm like, I don't think so. Like, that's not a thing.
The Chili's.
Yeah. But
she ordered a double fucking salsa. Fucking
so, I mean, but
that happened to me though, so I knew exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's sad that organization that's built in that should be supporting each other has torn itself up from the inside. That
it's that way with the Navy too.
Another organization has to come in. It would almost wish that there was an organization that could fix that organization, because
that's what we are, and that's what Brandy's bringing to the table.
Yep.
Right.
Brandy's bringing that to the table with her new podcast, so she gets thrown under the ringer to give us the AAR. So what happened on the show today, Brandy, and tell us who you are and how excited we are to have you.
So I would say for me, like, I think really just the Ohana Foundation, what they're doing is amazing. I think that it's great that, I mean, they're bringing attention to caring for the caregivers. I mean, to me, like, that's where I went to that. I mean, the alien conspiracies are also entertaining as well, but like there wasn't enough jokes about probing each other in the Navy or something. So definitely have to say the Ohana. But for me, so I'm Brandy Pett. I am the host of the podcast show. Yes, I am the veteran. I am an Air Force veteran, and before you guys start, the only chair I was ever issued was the one with on it. So sorry to disappoint, but I was a medic. I was medically retired when I was 25. I almost lost both legs of my right arm due to medical malpractice. I had arterial blood clots, and then I had necrotizing fasciitis and stuff like that. So for me, I really find secondary, like, I guess, treatments for things or alternative treatments interesting. So I have actually written about them when I was with Freedom Sisters. I did write about like my experiences doing ketamine infusion therapy. I wrote about the alpha stem, which is why I do know some information, and you can actually get those prescribed or not prescribed, but like you could reach out to the organization and tell them you're a nonprofit and what you're doing, and they can actually potentially donate those to your organization. Because the Pink Parties, I was able to convince their physician that they had on staff of the healing abilities that it had, especially for veterans in crisis. If they were like out on an event or something, it could help to kind of like allay that a bit, so that way they can get somewhere where they can fully decompress. and they actually did do it, and they were gifted one. And so I mean, that's $700 and something that could be invaluable to your organization as well in the future.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
So, hey, before we give the ladies of the Ohana Homefront Foundation the last word, yes, this podcast is coming out on Veteran Trash Talk. Please pay attention to it. It's going to happen. And again, the more voices we get out, the more answers we can find. So, ladies of the Ohana Homefront Foundation, the floor is yours before Dave closes us out.
All right. So just remember, it's okay to not be okay. Suicide is not a dirty word. It's a scary word, not a dirty word. And it can be used. And don't be afraid to talk about the deep stuff, you know, the important stuff. Those are the conversations that are hard to have, but they're the ones that need to happen.
They're the ones we want to have.
Yes.
Correct.
And ohanahomefront.org is our website, and you can reach me at president@ohanahomefront.org or Nicole at director@ohfcounseling.org. And we have a major event here in Virginia at Veterans Day weekend that we would love to have people join us for.
Phenomenal stuff, ladies.
Nicole.
Yeah.
Yeah. She gives the thumbs up.
Ladies, thank you so much for coming on. Great discussion. I love the project, and I know we'll probably talk offline here once we close the show out. You know, use our platform to, you know, get some volunteers and people who want to help your foundation, because I think what you guys are doing is amazing. And like you said, you know, if you have issues, it doesn't make you weak to reach out and discuss. You know, it makes you a warrior, actually. You know, because we always say you have to take the first step. So for anybody that's watching and going through some shit right now, just reach out to your brothers and sisters. There's plenty of people who would love to help you out. I'm gonna rep our stuff a little bit. I got an awesome tee. I'm amazed this one hasn't been taken down yet, right?
No.
What are you pointing at? Yeah. Free speech extremist. Okay. We got, you know, Elon Musk. We got the tweet and stuff. You can cop you can cop that at shop.veterantrashtalk.com or go to gruntworksclothing.com. Check out some of my merch. We got the button. I don't have a button handy right now. It's one of my favorite items.
I've got 100 of them down here.
You got 100 of them.
Actually, I don't have 100 because I sold 4.
I was gonna say you should have sold way more than that, buddy. But
well, we got a plan.
For those of you who missed the show, go on Spotify later, go on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all that other good stuff. Happy Saturday. We'll catch you guys next week. Boom.